It was tough going, from the best seat at Colford daily newspaper to packing up my makeshift home at the Weir Hotel. A lot had happened in between then. I'd witnessed murder, pleas of innocence, and I had watched justice fall hard. Some would argue too hard, but in a city filled to the brim with murderers, thieves, rapists and drug addicts, what was too hard? I had seen the city quiet before on walks through the streets in the early hours, but this was different. There was a chill in the air, and not just because of the rapidly changing weather. Sure, summer had closed its door with a slam and cold winter opened its embrace, but the brittle air resonated from the discarded banners outside of the courthouse. Justice for Tabitha. Free our queen. The boss lady of the Knock Knock Club was gone, sentenced to death for her crimes. The club itself was now in the hands of the office of lawmakers and their bailiffs. Justice was served swiftly, but it wasn't the justice south of the city had wanted. Tabitha had fought for them. The blood she shed was for them. The closed sign over the entrance of the Penn auction house struck fear in City Main too. Two of the Penn triplets, Marcus and Simon, were resident of Colford Correctional, better known as the Boss. The third triplet, Reggie, had slipped lawmaker custody and was currently missing. Their father, Reginald, was rumoured to have returned to Colford. The man whom many addressed as the King of City Main was set on retrieving his sons regardless of the consequences. Fear in the city was but a prelude to the fear felt in the western town of Belfield when the gates of the Mac & Sons distillery closed. This was something that hadn't been known since the days of the Great Wars of previous generations. Second eldest Mac's son, Paddy, had also escaped CPD, leaving behind several dead officers, including Detective Hicks, a good man caught in the middle of a deadly face-off. Then there was Tawny, the old baroness of the Knock Knock Club and Tabitha's beloved aunt. She had been a resident of the Harbour House Rehabilitation Clinic after an attack on the club caused a complete mental breakdown. Being treated for trauma, she had been safe within the clinic until Tabitha's trial. As the lawmakers moved in to take her into custody, she was gone. Owner of the facility, Dr. Winslow, refused to give statement until he had placed himself in the good graces of the lawmakers. Breckenridge financial firm had funded a campaign which sent missing persons reports all around the city and displayed on the screen at the Breckenridge Tower in hopes of shaking whoever had her or knew of her whereabouts. Thanks to the financial muscle, there was not a corner of Colford that didn't show an image of Tawny's smiling face, as all those who knew her and loved her would remember her. I wasn't sure what Elizabeth Breckenridge's thinking had been behind this. At the helm of the financial giant, it would have been her decision, but Tabitha had caused the death of 59 of her clients and staff at an event known as the Freefall Massacre. Elizabeth had no reason, nor loyalties to Tawny. I could only surmise until her part of the story became more apparent. I spoke with a fellow resident of Harbour House, drug-addicted artist David Finn. Time in the clinic for his addiction seemed to have done him well. He had been close to Tawny. He was fearful for her safety and adamant that the Owen family were responsible for taking her due to a long-held grudge that they had with her. He was willing to tell me all she had ever told him about the Owens and the club, but the word of a recovering addict was little for me to go on. The room at the Weir was comfortable enough. The red and gold decor matched the hotel colours. I had been housed there ever since Tabitha was taken into custody, and my own home became a crime scene. I couldn't feel safe there, though, locked in the centre of City Main. I would much rather have returned to my home in the sleepy suburban spot of Jamestown, but the story still lay in the shady city, and I wasn't quite ready to abandon it when there was still so much to be told. My phone rang in a video call. Answering it brought me the pretty and warm, friendly face of Agent Lydia Lowe. She had been by my side and taken great personal risks to keep me safe throughout. It comforted me that she rarely allowed voice calls. She always requested video, forcing me to open up to her. "Hey, Rumi," she smiled. "I just wanted to check on you and see how you were doing." "Good," I said. I tried to hold the camera steady, offering her nothing but unflattering angles and a view of the roof. Lydia giggled as I tried to hold the phone steady. "I'll be back by the time you get here. I'm just wrapping up things with Kim at CPD." Kim was the leader of Lydia's agency team sent in to bring down the Knock Knock Club and its boss lady. She had kindly offered me sanctuary at her City Main home, giving me time and space to clear my own where the perfume of my dead wife Teresa still resonated. "We'll get a pizza, a cold beer, and figure out our next move. How does that sound?" I grinned. It sounded much better than another night alone at the Weir. "Sure," I agreed. "I'll be there soon." "See ya," was her cheery sign-off. I took one last look at my room. I wasn't sad to leave it. Pulled my suitcase into the old-fashioned styled elevator. Bellboy Ralph was on duty wearing the gold and red uniform. "Allow me," he offered, taking the burden of my case. You may want to get checked out quickly. Things are getting a bit crazy downstairs." Before I had the chance to ask him what he meant, the lift doors opened again. The main foyer had been swamped by Capasul brothers, a fraternity based at the University of Filton and founded by the own family. It was accusations against this brotherhood and its founding members that caused the city to be split in two in the first place. An excitable Capasul brother leaping around bumped into me, almost knocking me from my feet. "Watch out the way, bruh!" he yelled in a strong Great States accent, even though he was the one who had fallen into me. He must not have liked the skill I gave him in return, because he shoved me with a skill of his own. Luckily, one of his brothers screamed over to him and motioned for him to join them in the bar, where more of his brothers were harassing a barmaid. Glasses had been smashed and cheers rang out. Chairs were overturned in the foyer. The receptionist looked terrified. "We are Capasul!" chanted another group, just arriving from a bus that had pulled up outside. Rodney Weir himself was filtering among them. He was wearing his Capasul blazer to show he too was a brother, but was trying to bring some order to the chaos. Checking out, I handed my key to the receptionist. She was a heavy-set girl, mid-twenties, with a sweet face, but completely out of her depth when it came to dealing with the chaos that was coming her way. She accepted the key gratefully, but before she could say anything, a jeer erupted in the foyer where one of the brothers had climbed on a sofa and knocked it over. He was now lying on the ground. His brothers fell into peals of laughter around him. A storm hit the hotel that day, and I was caught in the middle of it. Trying to speak to the receptionist was difficult through the noise. "What's the name?" she asked. I hadn't heard her at first. I was hit in the head with an inflatable penis, the kind one may find in a hen party. One of the brothers, without apologising, grabbed it and waved it as though it was his own penis. He launched it back across the foyer like he was pitching a baseball. The group that had just alighted from the bus were now pushing into the reception desk. The one who had tipped the couch hadn't gotten back up. A drug cocktail, it seemed, was keeping him down. One of them kicked him. The rest of them sauntered to the bar. "What's the name?" the receptionist asked again. "It's Sam Crusoe," I explained. "Room 415. She started to check the computer. Her manicured nails tapped on the keys. There was a scream from the bar. On a dare, one of the brothers was trying to French kiss 80-year-old Mrs. Riley. He was pushing into her with his tongue protruding and his hands reaching out for her breasts. "Thank you, Mr. Crusoe," the receptionist said, having checked there was no cost left in the room. "I hope you enjoyed your stay." "Hey, Fatty Boom Boom, we need a room," said one of the new arrivals. "Excuse me," she replied. It would have been much easier if she had just given them the rooms. "Oh, just give us a goddamn room, bitch," groaned another, more irate brother. He was high on cocaine, or powder as it was known in the shady city. "I'm just finishing with this gentleman," she said. "It's fine," I assured her. "I'm done." "Don't piss her off, bro. She's gonna eat your ass," said another, also high on powder. "Mr. Weir," the receptionist called to Rodney. The hotelier's attention was caught. It didn't take much explanation for him to deduce what was happening. "It's fine, darling," he said. "Open up the 5th floor." He checked out. I left the bedlam behind. I could still hear the screams as I stepped onto the streets of City Main. The anarchy and all the new arrivals were because Robert Bobby Owen was touring the Capasul chapter houses, and his next stop was to be Colford. I am reporter Sam Crusoe, and my story is far from over. "Listen up, bitches. My pops is coming, so this place better be ready to receive," yelled Buddy Owen to his Capasul brothers, who were busy getting the celebration started at the Colford chapter house located on the Filton University campus. The excitement of meeting Bobby Owen wasn't just Buddy blowing hot air. Despite Buddy's father, Charles Chick Owen, or the Kappy as he was respectfully titled, being the current CEO of Owen Inc., the grandfather was still seen as a deity among the Capasul brothers. His portrait hung prominently in the main lounge of the house. His reputation as a founder and pioneer spread throughout all the chapters across the world. "I've been buzzing all day, bro," stated Chad, one of Buddy's closest brothers at the top of Capasul chain. He wasn't the only one. Buddy went on to address the others. "We're talking about the Commander-in-Chief himself coming to visit y'all. The great, the legendary, the much admired Bobby fucking Owen. My pops. You know they sing songs about him back home? You know that shit? He's gonna be walking in here any minute and this place smells like a goddamn vagina factory." He addressed the lesser brothers. "Y'all better recognize just how lucky you are to have him even want to look at your ass. The world out there's gone to shit. You can't call a fag a fag. You can't call a whore a whore. People are changing gender like they're fucking dirty drawers, and no one cares about tradition anymore. Our brotherhood survives because the monumental Bobby Owens said it was so. He gifted us a chapter house so we could follow tradition. He set foot in this shitty city so the people here could see our yellow and black and know that fucking means something. We're here so that we can remind people of tradition. Thanks to the awesome and spectacular Bobby Owens, we will let the shady city know that there is an order in life, and we are at the top of that fucking order. We take our place at the top of that order before things get out of hand, and we can't say fuck noodle without offending some vegan cross-dressing feminist asshole who identifies the fucking tree. I'm sick and tired of people telling me my words offend them. They should be offending. I got shit to say that people ain't gonna like. The incomparable Bobby Owen didn't make this brotherhood what it was so that we would have to care about other people. Am I right, my bros? A cheer rang out from the fraternity, but he grinned, his cocaine high buzzing even harder as he absorbed his brother's excitement. The man in charge himself, my pops, will knock all you bitches into line. You better be ready to bow because this man is royalty. He's a god here at Capasul, and you should be thanking your mama she had the good sense to open her legs in time for y'all to be here to witness the marvelous, fucking awesome occasion. And don't forget, contained within his god balls is the essence that created me, your other god. Here, buddy gave a raspy laugh, and other brothers cheered some more. Those are some magnificent balls, buddy, Chad said, caught up in the excitement. Thanks, Chad. Got your back, bro, Chad replied. On his right side, Dale Cooper, son of the legendary racing family, Cooper Garages, folded his arms across his chest and waited for Buddy to continue. Cheryl, a Capasul cheerleader, honours student in the first year at Felton, now scraping by, was brought forth. She was so high on powder she could barely walk. She grinned as she was ushered forward and kneeled before Buddy. Go forth, he ordered, and let all the whores know that there will be a rich old cock to be sucked tonight. He reached his hand out to Chad to summon him. Chad, he called, fetch me the golden cock. Chad leaped excitedly. I'll get your cock, buddy. Turned his focus back to Cheryl. The aptly titled coke whore was swaying. Her eyes were burning red with blood vessels bursting through the whites. Chad returned and placed a penis made out of gold into Buddy's hand. It was generally proportioned and as anatomically correct as could be found, gilded from precious metal. A sombre silence fell over the Capasul hall as Buddy held the golden cock out. With this cock you will summon the best whores, he said, as though a priest delivering mass. Cheryl bowed her head. I will, Buddy, she agreed. You will treat it with the appropriate respect, he said. I will, she replied again, dutifully. He passed it into her outstretched hands as though she was accepting communion. Buddy pointed to the door. Now go forth, your task has been assigned. Cheryl climbed onto her feet. Her drug-addled stupor made it a bit of a task. She certainly wasn't as agile then as she was on the cheerleading squads of the university. When she finally did get onto her feet, she skipped off. Taking the golden cock to the Capasul house, the sorority would see the penis etched in gold, and the sisters would know that there was a sugar daddy available to please. The fresh air as she stepped outside hit her so hard. She almost stumbled, but the powder pushed her forward. She ran excitedly. Harsh headlights came charging towards her like a bull. Wham! Cheryl collided with a black van. The van continued on its charge. Smash! Capasul Chapter House received a blow to its west side as the van crashed through. Before they could react, most of them too drunk or drugged to do much anyway, the brothers of Capasul were swarmed by thugs from Colford City football team. They called themselves the Loyalists, and they descended upon the brothers under the leadership of Reginald Penn, head of the Penn dynasty and the one they hailed as the King of Maine. In an unprecedented coupling, the fleet from Belfield team had joined them. Normally fierce rivals, these two groups had put aside their differences in order to tackle a common enemy. Get the fuckers together, Kieran was calling. They got some explaining to do. A struggle, violence, bloodshed ensued. Buddy and his brothers were taken to the lawns of the chapter house. On their knees, beaten badly and sobering fast, the brothers looked about themselves, still trying to comprehend what had just happened. The Loyalists were wrecking the house, whilst the Macs and their fleet held the brothers to account. The air was tense. Buddy could only hear the noise of the search and the screams of some of the brothers they had found hiding upstairs faintly from the outside. He was in a dreamlike state and only taking things in small captions. The King! Cried one of the city main voice. You're fucked now, Kieran Mac cheered. But he tried to focus through his powder high. Through the sea of bodies emerged a commanding presence. Tall, greying fair hair with an Olympian magnetism. Reginald Penn's patience was wearing thin. Buddy Owen and his brothers were a pestilence in his way. I'll speak to the one in charge, Reginald said. The Capasul brothers, including Chad and Cooper, looked to Buddy. Buddy stared straight ahead and said nothing. Reginald took note of Buddy's particular discomfort. I'm here because rumour has it you took a friend of mine from Harbour House. A good woman. They call her the Baroness. If she's here, we'll find her. So you may as well make it easy on yourself. Still no brother saw fit to respond. Chad kept looking between Reginald and Buddy. Buddy still made no move. A Loyalist brought a thick chain to his king. Reginald accepted it. Call this Belter, he said. Some of the Loyalists were giddy with excitement. Paddy Mac was expressionless. And she's going to bash in the brains of every last fucking one of you until you tell me where Tawny is. But, bro, Chad whimpered, trying to urge Buddy to speak up for them. Reginald circled in on Buddy. He pointed Belter at him. She hissed through her coils. You must be in on, he said. You've got that inbred look. The Loyalist chuckled. Buddy still said nothing. Where's Tawny? Reginald snarled. He raised Belter. Buddy's sordid life flashed before his eyes. The drugs, the whores, the chaos. I believe, sir, your quarrel is with me. Robert Bobbion arrived on scene. Fresh from the Filton University spa, he had come as a matter of urgency. His shirt still hung open. Leave the boys alone, he ordered. But he had never been so glad to see his pops. Bobbion, the elder introduced. This is my chapter house you're trespassing upon, and I do not care for the intrusion. Nigel remained stationed, but he watched Belter swing from his hand like a hypnotist's timepiece. If you're saying you're the man in charge, then we have a problem, Reginald warned. Bobby shook his head. Your hooligans will not find what they seek here. The elder one was surrounded by Loyalists. They took him into custody, but Bobby didn't resist. For fuck's sake, Reginald, he's an old man, Paddy protested, but it did little good. The two of his boys contained within the boss, another missing, and now word spreading that the Owens had taken a good friend of his. The Penfather was intent on blood. Bobby almost pushed to his knees before the king. Your maniac children belong behind bars. It isn't afore long. You will join them soon enough. Your friend, I have no idea where she is, and I care not. She and her lying whore of a niece are a stain on this city that needed to be wiped clean, said Bobby. Reginald growled. Paddy clutched his arm. Reg, he warned, but Reginald shook it off. Reginald took a deep breath. Whack! The first blow of the chain sent Bobby Owen to the grass. Loyalist lifted him back onto his knees. Already his consciousness was waning. Whack! Whack! Some of the brothers cried out, seeing the skull of God among them reduced quickly to a bloody mess. None of them saw fit to try and help. Paddy Mac turned away. Kieran laid a hand on his brother's shoulder. Reginald gasped, catching his breath again. Whack! 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 The highly respected Bobby Owen, the one people sung songs of back home, was dead. His blood dripped from Belter's fangs. You're an Owen, aren't you? Reginald hissed at Buddy. What's your name? Buddy, the chapter leader replied, trying not to look at the body of his dead grandfather. He's the son of the Kappy, Kieran Mac confirmed. Reginald swung Belter as he gave it some thought. Get me a phone. One of the Loyalists passed a phone to their king, who in turn threw it to Buddy. The Capasul brother didn't make a move to catch it. It bounced off his chest and onto the grass. Pick it up, ordered Reginald Penn. Buddy obeyed. He clasped the phone in a trembling hand. Get your father on the phone, we need to talk, King proclaimed. Mr. Owen's office, how may I direct your call? The secretary's light voice answered. Put me through the Kappy right away, said Buddy, still on his knees, still with a weary eye on Belter, clasped tightly in Reginald Penn's hand. May I ask who's calling? The secretary asked. She seemed distracted by something that was going on in her office. Buddy, you dumb bitch, get the Kappy on the goddamn phone now! Oh, Bernard, I'm so sorry, I didn't recognize your voice. You sound a little different. Is everything okay? But he was losing breath and losing patience. Tell my father I'm a bit of a band. It was a phrase Buddy had been taught as a youngster. It would let his father know immediately he was being coerced. The secretary fell silent. Reginald scowled at Buddy. The secretary rang off. Within seconds, the phone screamed a reply in the form of a video call directly from Chick Owen. Answer, Reginald ordered. The screen opened to show the face of Charles Chick Owen. He was in his office in the Great States and aggrieved at the disturbance. Buddy's words to his secretary had placed him on alert. "Buddy," he asked initially, "are you hurt?" "No," Buddy replied. Perhaps. The screen was turned to the battered and bloody corpse of Bobby. Reginald snatched the phone from Buddy and addressed Chick directly. Kappy's gaze burned through the screen. "I was wondering how long it would be before you reached out, Mr. Penn. The old man didn't have to die. My hand was forced. All I'll ask is that you hand over Tawny." Kappy raised an eyebrow. "Who?" Reginald snarled. "You know who she is, and what has it you know where she is." Chickone remained calm. "If you're referring to the bar clown who owned the Knock Knock Club, then I am somewhat familiar. But as for where she is, her current location eludes me." "You talk shite," Kieran spoke up. Reginald turned to him with a warning stare. Kieran stepped back. "You have her. And if you hurt her, it's going to be the last thing you ever do," Reginald warned. The corner of Chick's upper lip raised. "You take the word of some junked-up artist. I thought you were a smarter man than that. I heard the rumours too, but I challenge you to find any foul play in my chapter house. If I find you're lying, more of your blood will be shed." Dear Chick smiled, but it was icy. "You realize we do not recognize any monarchy here in the great states, self-proclaimed or otherwise." Reginald gripped Belter tighter. "This isn't the great states. Welcome to fucking Colford. Have I made my point?" The Kappy raised his chin. "Loud and clear." He reached over and closed the call. The screen fell to darkness. The night chill was setting in. It was sobering. The high Buddy had felt earlier was but a memory. He believed he had never felt so sober. The city was behind him. As they headed north, they must have taken a wrong turn on the way to Own Estate. The true north, they called it. It was an expanse of farmlands and empty space. His feet were cold and wet as he and his bros skipped across open fields. None of them had energy to complain anymore, except for Buddy, whose irritability was driving him on. "That son of a bitch is gonna pay," he growled. "Him and his 3 stooge sons. Fucking triplets. That's just fucking weird." Cooper stopped him. "Taking a wrong turn, bud. Where's the estate?" "How the fuck should I know?" Buddy returned with a groan. "Come on, Coops, I'm freezing my balls off just as much as the rest of you." "I saw a barn about a mile back," Chad stated. "Maybe we can rest up there and find out where we are." Suddenly a beaming light spotted on them with a booming noise as though the Lord himself was laying down judgment. A voice echoed through the blinding shine. "For trespassing," it said. It was a deep voice, a man's voice. It had the bounce of a Bolton accent. Far north had they come, Buddy wondered. "In these parts we have permission to shoot." Buddy made a move to step forward. The crack of a gun shot warned him to stay where he was. Buddy reached his arms up to shield his eyes from the beams. "My name's Buddy Owen," the Capasul leader spoke up. He was at the end of his tether by then. "I'm having a really shitty night, bro," he sobbed. "I'm cold, I'm wet, my pop's died, one of our horses in pieces in the street, we had to walk all the way here from City, Maine, I lost my golden cock." Cooper laid a comforting hand on Buddy's shoulder. Silence fell. 2 men walked towards them, their frames silhouetted in the bright lights. One was a large burly man with swept-back blonde hair. The other was shorter, dark hair and a long face. Both wore shirts with Harvester's logo. The smaller one looked at his companion. Did he just say he had a golden cock? "I'm Glenn," the blonde one explained. "You're on Harvester Farm," Buddy whined. "I just want to go home, bro. I was trying to get to the Own Estate, it's my family's place." Glenn still didn't seem so sure. It was Cooper who made their plea next. "Dude," he said, "we gotta get some help, we gotta get some clothes, man, we're freezing our asses off." Buddy turned to Chad. "God damn it, Chad, will you stop flicking your dick, dude? I can hear you tapping away." Chad lowered his head. "Sorry, bud." "What do you say, man? Give a bro a break." "What the fuck was that about a golden cock?" asked the other farmhand. Glenn scowled at him. "Leave it, Curtis." The one named Curtis shrugged. Glenn sighed. "Follow us up to the East Acre. I'll see what I can do." Grateful for the sanctuary, Buddy and his brothers followed the truck deeper into Harvester Farm. Curtis spun the wheels, throwing mud onto the already distressed brothers. Glenn laughed and punched his arm. "Leave them," he said. "I've been through a lot. Said his granddad died." Curtis shook his head. Spoiled little cunt seemed more upset at losing his golden cock. What the fuck that was. Glenn laughed again. Just let it go. The brothers skipped across the gravel pathway, yelping at the pain in their feet, but They were presented with a large farmhouse. The light was on the lower floor. Buddy beamed as he made his way towards the house. "Oh, no you don't," he said. "None of you get anywhere near that house, do you hear?" "Yeah, I hear you, bro," Buddy relented. "Dude, I need a phone. I need to call my dad. Maybe you know him, Chacon. They call him the Kappy." Glenn shook his head, not really listening. "Can't say with me." He pointed towards a barn. "Take your brothers to the milking sheds. It'll be warm enough in there. I'll get some blankets and clothes to you." Buddy's powder high was well and truly gone by then, and every pain in his body was magnified. The stench of the farm was already giving him a headache. Holding himself up on the fence, Buddy led his brothers to the milking shed. Curtis was waiting on them, holding the door open. "Ma!" A scream ripped through the night, breaking the solemn silence of the brothers. Wham! Buddy had a blow to the side as he was knocked away from the fence he was trying to hold himself up on. "What the fuck is that?" he yelped with despair. Sharp horns and small glowing eyes charged at the fence again. Wham! The fence rattled. "Seriously, what the fuck is that?" Buddy asked again, almost in tears. "It's a goat," Chad explained calmly, taking a look over the fence at the animal beyond. "A pygmy of an old Hatfield breed by the looks of it. A genus Caspar agagoris." The brothers were now staring at Chad, perplexed. Chad Perry was the heir to the Perry Zoo chain. Despite that, being a frat brother, it could be assumed his university degrees had come from special treatment. However, Chad had actually learned quite a bit about his field of zoology. "Ma! Wham! Well, do you know how to shut the fucking thing up?" "Ma! Fuck you, dude!" Buddy screamed at the animal. He stuck his leg through the fence to try and kick it, but it skipped away. "Yeah, you better run, you little bitch!" he yelled, but his leg was caught. He tried to pull himself free again, but fell into the mud. "Ah!" he screamed in frustration. "This night is one big dick down my throat, you know that, bro?" Cooper helped Buddy up. "Come on, bro, they're watching us." As Glenn had said, there was a warmth to the milking sheds. Having grown up on own ranch, the bros looked to Buddy as their authority on what to do next. All their leader could do, though, was kick over a bucket. Forgetting he was barefooted, the pain rang through his toes. "Oh, fuck, I regret doing that. Ow! Oh, oh, shit," he bawled. A short while later, the shed door opened and a woman came to them carrying a bundle of blankets in her arms. Buddy's eyes lit like the beams from the trucks. A beautiful woman, firm-bodied, healthy. Her brunette hair was tied back, serving to highlight her shining blue eyes and soft, naturally rosy lips. "Welcome to Harvester Farm, boys," she said. "I'm Julia Harvester."